And at 7:47, it's Friday with the Fuzz, and here is Derek. Derek, take it away.
Thank you, Dave. In studio today for Friday the Fuzz, we have Deputy Chief Bill Wolf. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here and a big weekend coming up, big couple weekends coming up.
Yeah.
But first, we do have some somber news. We did lose an officer with the Elgin Police Department. James Willson did pass away this week. If you'd like to talk a little bit about Officer Willson.
Yeah, extremely sad situation, and very unexpected. Big loss for our police department. Big loss for the community, the citizens of Elgin. Jim was officer for 27 years with the department. Way too young to have passed away. We're very sad, but we're going to do the best we can to honor his service with the department.
Yeah.
And on Saturday will be the services for him at Wait Ross Allenson Funeral Home. For the public, there'll be an open visitation starting at 3 p.m. going to 6 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. there'll be a service, and we're going to have our honor guard will be there. We'll have bagpiper and do 21 gun salute and do our best to really honor Jim.
Yeah, and I see in front of the police department there's the squad car, squad SUV with the draping on it. Is that a normal memorial type thing for?
Yeah, you know what? It is, and that's actually the squad that he drives.
Yeah.
And so just thought it'd be a nice thing to put out there and do something to honor him, and
Absolutely. So the visitation tomorrow. So Officer James Willson with the police department 27 years.
27 years, yeah.
Definitely a big loss for the department, but if there's any department to recover from a sudden loss of an officer, it's Elgin. So it'll be.
Yeah, it's tough, and we've had our chaplains have been very involved. They've been at the police department every day. Just there talking to officers. Particularly the officers that were the closest to Jim, and the ones that worked with him every day on day shift, to the shift that he worked. And it's tough, but we'll get through it.
Yeah. Speaking of things that have happened here, I know we lost that officer, James Willson, so we'll remember the best we can here at the station, and we thank you for coming in today also, because I know it's a tough time for the Elgin Police Department in general, because you never can predict things like this, especially.
Right.
I mean, you never predict something like that, a sudden loss like that. Officers retire and officers leave the station, but sudden loss of life is really something that you never can expect, especially a respected officer of 27 years, and especially for the community as well.
Yeah, so. Absolutely, and one quick story, and I shared this with Jim's wife, and over the years, Jim worked midnight shift for many years, and midnight shift, especially on the weekends, can be very busy.
Yeah.
And, back years ago when Elgin had more crime and more serious issues, Jim probably was on countless serious crimes, and probably was involved in saving many people's lives and arresting significant criminals and things like that over the years. But I think that when it comes down to it, a lot of the little things that officers do is what really kind of defines them, their person. And just a couple weeks ago, my parents were traveling down Randall Road, and their car broke down. And I got a call from them hours later saying, our car broke down, and all of a sudden some officer comes in, and the guy was just so nice, and he went out of his way to help us and figured out what was wrong with the car, and spent quite a bit of time, and then eventually helped them get their car started and on their way, and I said, well, what was the officer's name? And it was Jim Willson, and they just went on and on about how nice he was, and I'm sure there's probably hundreds of other stories out there about Jim helping random people and that we don't even know about, and I think that really speaks a lot to his character.
Absolutely, just little things like that always can make somebody's day, especially, and doing that throughout the community always makes somebody a big part of the community. So we'll all miss Jim here at the station, here in Elgin. And it's always tough to transition to other topics, especially from losing an officer. But we have a couple things to talk about. If you wanted to mention, I know we had the active shooter drill weeks back. If you want to talk how that went, especially on your perspective, I think we talked to Chief last week about it, but how you think you went and how it went for the station there.
Well, I think the biggest thing about a drill is that we wanna learn from it, and so actually this entire week there's been several meetings between us, officers involved, the SWAT team that was involved, quite a bit of meetings between us and the fire department, and so. A lot of lessons learned we've been going over. Sergeant Lally, that really coordinated the drill from the police department side of things, is still compiling a list of all the things that we need to do better or work on. And so there's going to be additional training, to follow up with this. We're also doing each one of our supervisors right now is getting run through incident command. Training and going through actual scenarios. We have a model city at the police department right now, and so we're having all the supervisors go through and mocking up, serious incidents and having them, run it kind of from the beginning and, then critiquing and learning from those things as well. So
I know this was the warm zone where you take people into like a warm, active shooting area. And I was reading about it. I remember doing it last year as well. Is this still new for a lot of people? When if you talk about a warm zone, it's still an active shooter, and trying to get some people into an active shooting area to help wounded people in that area. It's like it's called a warm zone, and it's still like a new concept to bring people in. It's still a training activity for the big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that part of it is more a new thing for the fire department, because traditionally they have not come in until it was declared a cold zone, and we have cleared the majority of the building. But now what we do, if we can just get a small portion of the building clear where we relatively are sure that it's safe, that the fire department will start coming in and getting victims out. So we move as many of the victims to that area of the building as possible, and the fire department have specially trained paramedics that also have ballistic armor on and things like that, where they'll come in and start getting people out.
Yeah, so it's a situation that never wants to arise. Nobody wants this kind of situation to arise, but you need to be prepared for anything, really, especially in a city of 110,000 people and more. So moving on to the Citizens Police Academy, we had a graduation in the Citizens Police Academy. So we had was this past week?
Yes, it was. It was on Wednesday, and actually it's our Senior Citizens Police Academy. So we do 3 different police academies. We have our standard one we've done for many years. We have Senior Police Academy, and then we also have a Spanish Police Academy that's primarily taught in Spanish. So, but this was our Senior Police Academy, and we had a room full of graduates. As a matter of fact, the graduation, took place the morning after we learned about, Jim Willson, and impromptu, the class, got together, passed around a cup and had people donate money to his family, and and they really went out of their way to offer support to our officers as well, and it was just a really nice thing. But we had 25 graduates, something like that, and it was really nice. And with that, we at the end of the graduation, we try to get as many of the graduates to join our Assistant Police Academy Alumni Association. And so these are people that have gone through the academy, whether it was the senior, the Spanish, or our standard police academy, and then they have their group, the Alumni Association, where they do a lot of nice things for our officers, support our officers. They they'll do cookouts. They'll come in on Thanksgiving and make Thanksgiving dinner for our officers, and a lot of nice things.
Yeah. So I know. Speaking of those nice things, when you get people to sign up for that Alumni Association and doing some of the things, I know you're looking for certain people to help out the Alumni Association for a couple of projects.
Yeah, one of the projects that they've helped sponsor is we started out. We want to do something where we honor our retired officers and civilians that have served the department. And so we started out with phase 1 of this, which was also a little bit of a fundraiser, was to sell commemorative bricks that we would place in front of the station. And so we had about right around 150 people bought bricks. These are officers and civilians, current and retired, that bought bricks from the station. They were the bricks cost $50, and the person that ordered, you could have your name, your badge number, your dates of service engraved in the bricks. And then that we brought in about $5,000 for that. So that's our initial seed money to go to our next project, where we do something. We want to do something bigger, where we have like a granite wall, or a walkway where where we have maybe a wall with names where we list all the people that have served either 20, 25, or 30 years with the department. Some other departments, Aurora's got a nice display in front of the department. I haven't seen it yet. I'm told Naperville does. I stopped by DuPage County. They have like an officer memorial section, and so there's a number of things out there. But we've got a lot of ideas, but what we're looking for is some help. We're looking for an architect or kind of a graphic designer that can give us. We've got some ideas that can maybe put together some drawings of where we start, so we can kind of get the project started and then find out what it would cost to actually implement some of these ideas.
Yeah. So hopefully somebody listening out there maybe has a skill set, architect, designing kind of background, can help out the Alumni Association a little bit. Yeah,
and if anybody does, they can call my number. 847-289-2762 is the number to. From my desk, I'm working with the Alumni Association. I'm in a committee of department members to get this moving, and love to hear if anybody has any ideas or can help.
Well, I'm banking on that. I'm banking on somebody helping. So we also have a golf program that just started with kids. We were talking about it off air beforehand. So is this the second year with the Park District, or the first year with the police officers in a while, that's at-risk kids, and this golf program you've had, and you kind of just started it last week?
Yeah, it started again. We've done it a number of times throughout the years with Parks and Recs, and it just started up again. Officer John Varga is coordinating it, and basically we have some at-risk kids from some neighborhoods in Elgin that are participating in the program. They're learning how to golf. There's one of the golf professionals at the Highlands of Elgin through the Parks Department that's volunteered to help these kids, and some of them are really getting into it and taking it seriously, and hopefully going to learn how to golf.
Yeah, golfing is such a frustrating sport, though.
Yes, it is.
It takes a lot of patience to have kids in general, and having a whole group of kids. It's really a testament to the officers doing that program. But it's been teaching valuable skills. I mean, especially at-risk kids with patience and determination and sticking with something, and just golf in general pretty tough. Yeah,
and then the officers that are volunteering, to be there, they also get to see the officers in a different light and more, just it's kind of a fun thing too.
Yeah, more of a mentor setting. Dave, you had a question you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't know if you can address this or not, but last week we had the shooting in Charleston. When something like that happens nationwide, is Elgin Police, does that prepare anything with regards to security in churches? Is there any extra security going on when something like this goes on from a nationwide standpoint from the police?
Obviously, anytime things like this occur, it's something that we take notice to. We've got a pretty good relationship with many of the churches in Elgin, and there's a couple of churches that we actually have every Sunday. We actually have detail officers at their churches, and so absolutely is something that we look at. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
It's a good question. Anyways, we'll wrap up here. So we got the golf program, and so that's a great program. I think it's that kind of sports programs. I think with kids at risk are great in general, but golf is something different because it teaches different kind of skill set, and definitely with patience and with seeing officers in a different setting kind of helps kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So ending, we've got next week is big. Obviously,
yes, it is.
We don't have this weekend. We don't really have a concert in town. But obviously, it's a summer weekend. So every summer weekend. But this is the weekend kind of that ramps up kind of the fireworks and all that, kind of the 4th of July Independence celebration. So talk a little bit about Elgin's the fireworks codes and everything, and what you're allowed and what not you're allowed to have, and what you've done so far.
Pretty much in Illinois, and specifically in the city of Elgin, pretty much all fireworks are not allowed. And I know it's one of those things where people assume that it's okay. It's just a few fireworks on 4th of July, but we've had years where we've had people significantly injured. We've had children. A couple years ago, there was a child that was severely injured with fireworks, and it's something that we enforce. We do not want people shooting off fireworks, and it's a minimum of $100 fine if you're caught, and if it's a significant situation, somebody can be charged with an actual misdemeanor, in some cases a felony. We just one of our officers stopped somebody with a significant amount of fireworks yesterday. And Derek, I showed you a photo.
That's a significant amount.
Yeah. And so that person was charged with a significant crime, and we're going to continue to do that. And we're just reminding people: do not shoot off fireworks. It not only is it's dangerous to kids, but it also is a fire hazard, and it is illegal. And we do not want people shooting off fireworks in the city of Elgin.
Yep, it's illegal. The risk is just not worth the reward.
Right. You know, if you want to see fireworks, the city of Elgin
Yeah.
has a licensed, certified, professionals that are going to do the actual sponsored fireworks show. And for those people that saw it last year, it was an awesome show. It's going to be downtown, right by the Grand Victoria Casino. Coupled with a concert, and we encourage people to come and watch that fireworks show and not to do their own.
Yeah, just let the professionals handle it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it'll be a good show. Well, Bill, thank you for coming in this Friday morning.
Thank you.
And I think that's going to do it for Friday at the Fuzz here. And Dave, you want to take us out here?
All right, sounds great. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you next week on Friday with the Fuzz.
Thanks, Dave.